Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and of course it is definitely a cliffhanger, as the Washington Post is reporting there, a cryptic cliffhanger there, when President Trump gave the ominous message earlier today, it is the calm before the storm. And when asked about what he meant by that, well, he declined to answer that at this time. But it's not too hard to figure out as we begin to see what's happening throughout the world. RT reporting U.S. warship approaches Korean Peninsula for drills with South Korea. But in the case of RT, they go just a little bit beyond this, as the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier, along with a guided missile cruiser and nuclear-powered submarine, are on their way to the Korean Peninsula to prepare for a potential war with North Korea, while Pyongyang reportedly plans new missile tests. As of Friday, the USS Ronald Reagan, with nearly 80 aircraft on board, was in the South China Sea on its way to the shores of the U.S. ally South Korea. We actually reported that the other day because of some inside information we had that it was ported there in Hong Kong before it even made mainstream media. And North Korea, Reuters reporting as well, that North Korea is preparing a long-range missile test, RIA cites Russian lawmaker. And in fact, he's talking about a long-range missile test that could potentially reach the mainland United States on the west coast there. And supposedly this is planned for Columbus Day, this October the 9th, that is. North Korea is preparing for a test long-range missile which it believes can reach the west coast of the United States. A Russian lawmaker just returned from a visit to Pyongyang was quoted as saying on Friday, Anton Morozov, a member of the Russian lower house of parliament International Affairs Committee, and two other Russian lawmakers visited Pyongyang on October 2nd through the 6th, Russia's RIA news agency reported. They are preparing for a new test for a long-range missile. They even gave us mathematical calculations that they believe prove that their missile can hit the west coast of the United States. RIA quoted Morozov as saying, as far as we understand, they intend to launch one more long-range missile in the near future, and in general, their mood is rather belligerent. Seems like President Trump is not taking any chances with what's going on there, and as you can see here, senior CIA officials are saying that North Korea is planning a provocation on October 9th on Columbus Day. New activity near test site they're showing here in the image here on the screen and behind me here to the left, just showing other things that are going on. Now, my biggest concern is we're seeing all types of very serious issues going on right now, not just with North Korea, but we're also seeing a lot of issues that are happening between Russia and the United States. We're finding out that the U.S. is trying to ban RT News, or at least putting tighter restrictions on them that could eventually lead to their ban in the United States. At the same time, Russia is saying that if the U.S. continues to be provocative against freedom of speech, that Russia would do the same with the likes of CNN inside of Russia. So these are the type things you normally see before war breaks out. But yet we're talking about North Korea, right? Not talking about Russia and the United States. Or could it be that this could actually spiral out of control? Russian officially accuses U.S. of helping ISIS in Syria and threatens retaliation. That's a remark coming out from President Putin finally over this. It's now a new official statement. The issue there in Syria, as Russia has been steadily claiming that the U.S. has been harboring ISIS militants inside of the Al-Tanf region, the no-confliction zone that the U.S. is in control of. In fact, also the Russian and Syrian forces are saying that the U.S. is also forbidding the aid shipments to be sent to one of the refugee camps that are inside that area there, and claim that the U.S. is using them for human shields. Now, the U.S. is denying that, as we can see on the Pentagon says here. Sputnik brings this out, calls Russian MOD remarks on U.S. coalition's aims in Syria ridiculous. Says the Pentagon has again responded to a statement made by the Russian Defense Ministry earlier this week accusing the U.S. of supporting terrorists in Syria. And their statement, as is follow on the screens here, the coalition mission, let me just kind of make that a little bit bigger just so we can all see that with no problem. mission in Syria is to defeat ISIS, Daesh, and prevent its return to liberated areas. Any claims to the contrary are ridiculous. U.S. forces operating in Syrian territory operate under the authorities to combat terrorism and will continue to advise and assist partner forces as long as ISIS remains either a conventional or insurgent threat. The coalition continues its mission to train partner forces in the tri-border region as part of its campaign to defeat ISIS throughout Syria and Iraq, the spokesperson said. But Russia seems to have a differing opinion on that. Anyway, it says Russian Defense Ministry, ISIS attacks are coming from locations near U.S. positions. The tensions between U.S. and Russian officials over ongoing fighting in eastern Syria continue to mount. On Wednesday, Russian Defense Ministry issued a statement complaining that the U.S. has been supporting ISIS in the area and threatening retaliation. Such accusations are common on all sides of war. Russian Major General Igor Konashenkov, however, noted that a number of recent ISIS attacks have come from sites very close to U.S. positions and relied on precise coordination they could have only gotten from U.S. aerial reconnaissance. Well, Russia didn't just leave that sitting there idle either, by the way. Russia also sent 10 cruise missiles towards ISIS targets inside of Syria on Thursday there. Many of you probably already aware of that. Said that Russia has been a major backer of the Syrian President Bashar forces and has helped government troops gain significant ground from opposition fighters and militant groups in the war. The ministry spokesman Major General Igor Konashenkov said in a statement that the Caliber missiles killed an unspecified number of ISIS fighters and destroyed major ammunition depots and command posts. Now, we happen to pull that up on the screen for you here so you can get a little idea of what's going on here. It's this region right down in here. There's a little road here on the map here that comes across. You don't see it where it crosses Syria. This here is where Al-Tanf is right here. And it's in this region here, 50-mile kilometer in either direction, that the U.S. has set up a so-called buffer zone. And they have been launching strikes against Syrian forces and Russian forces near Palmyra. And I think that's to break that hold where the Syrian government has pushed forward and re-liberated Palmyra, but it's also the lifeline to Deir ez-Zor. And Russia, when they launched their cruise missiles, were going for Mayadin, where the ISIS militants have a stronghold there as well, weakening that force there. But that's also getting very close to the edge of that 50-kilometer range there that the U.S. has control of, or at least is keeping control of. And it shows, slowly but surely, Russia definitely not going to back down, pushing closer and closer, taking out ISIS militants nearer and nearer where U.S. forces are actually stationed at. So the situation, whether it be North Korea, the U.S. forces getting ready to tackle that, whether it be Syria, it could easily go into a situation that could spiral out of control in a way that no one wants to see. As President Trump said, it is the calm before the storm. We'll have to see exactly what he means by that. Don't forget, maybe before I close out on this broadcast here, I need to really share this back with you again, especially in light of the President Trump's latest words that he's speaking here. And granted, friends, I understand the President is in a very awkward position when it comes to North Korea. But, you know, who wants to see a war just break out completely all over the entire region there? Remember what it says in Daniel. We have two things we got to keep in mind. Verse 44, but tidings out of the east and out of the north shall affrighten him, and he shall go forth with great, what? Fury to destroy and utterly to take away many. Don't forget President Trump promised Kim Jong-un fire and fury. And, of course, the King of the North promises to do just that for those on the east and the north, which would be China and Russia. And, of course, North Korea being part of China there. In other words, it frightens him, causes him anxiety. Well, no doubt it would cause anybody anxiety, especially for the American people, our own people here, because we've got someone threatening to lob nukes our way. So he goes forth with great fury to destroy and to take away many. Now, backing back up to verse 39, though, don't forget this one. Actually, not 39. Let's see. And let me find the right place. Here it is, verse 40. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him. It's not at him, friends. All right? The king of the south, imo melech hanagid, it's with him. In Hebrew, imo, with him. He pushes with him. In other words, they're pushing together. That king of the north, the NATO forces, along with the Israeli forces, leader of forces there, pushing together to do what? And the king of the north shall come not against him, but Aliyav Melech HaTzifon. The king of the north will come over Berechav, will come over him like a storm. What did President Trump just get through saying? It's the calm before the storm. And yet here we have right here, the king of the north shall come over him. It's not against, over him. Like the word literally, that whirlwind is a storm with what? Chariots and with horsemen and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, plural, and shall overflow as he passes through. So when we're looking at this situation that's going on, Syria, North Korea, all of that laying right here at the last part of Daniel's prophecy, we may be getting ready to see prophetic things unfolding like never before. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. If we're blessing you, support this broadcast. Go to IsraeliNewsLive.org. Support right there. You can also donate by mail. You'll see our address there in Prague, the Czech Republic. In fact, we'll be going back to Prague here next month. But we do get that forwarded to us while we're here in the United States. So we thank you, those that do support that way. And also even on our YouTube channel. And just for those that do ask about that from time to time, what do you mean on our YouTube channel? Well, it's right there on our channel. Let me jump over there. Not on the Noon Institute, but on Israeli News Live on our channel right there. You can jump over there. You can see this. And you can go right to the channel there, and you'll see a little place there that allows you, if I can ever get to the right channel here, we'll get there in a second here, right there up above on the top part of the screen there, just above the subscribe button, a little place where you can donate there. And if you click on that link there, because I do know, friends, believe me, they try their best to keep you from being able to support this work here. We realize that. So we put that link right above the subscribe button there. When you come to our page, when you can see the picture right there, you should see it right there, a little P there for PayPal donation link there. We thank you for helping us to keep this broadcast on the air. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live.